and welcome to the Planet Protectors live stream holiday edition. This is part one of a two-part series. Before I talk to you more about that, we have our weekly holiday riddle as requested from some of our listeners. So let's hear it. When does Christmas come before Thanksgiving? The answer will be revealed at the end of the show, and that is when you can submit your answers. Before that, we have a special holiday episode planned for you. So let's do it. Just so you know what you're in for tonight, here is the schedule. First, we have 5 tips on how to stay sustainable during the holidays. Next, we have our Did You Know? After that, we have our holiday DIY, and lastly, we have our Animal of the Week. So let's go on to our first segment. Here are your top 5 sustainable holiday tips. Number 1, DIY or do it yourself. Make your own gifts and cards like candles or a candy jar. We'll do more of that later in the episode with our DIY topic. Number 2, reuse boxes from shipments and gift bags. When you get all of your holiday stuff delivered to you, all the gifts and presents, usually, from Amazon or wherever you get it from, really. Just put it, take it, look what's inside of it, and then wrap it up, done. And then put under the tree, or whatever your traditions are. Alright, so on that wrapping topic a little bit, number 3, use newspaper, tissue paper, or cloth as your new wrapping paper. So wrapping paper is only recyclable in certain places, and it is also something that we can only reuse when you unwrap something very carefully, like tape by tape. But if you're like me, you like to rip it open and just dive headfirst into it to see what the gift is. And yes, you are probably like me by doing that. So there is actually a sustainable way for wrapping them like that. You can use newspaper, which is recyclable, cloth, which is reusable, and tissue paper, which can be recyclable or reusable depending on how you wrap it and how the person opens it. And yeah, how it's packaged. Number 4, make your own decorations, which we'll talk about a little more in the episode with the DIY, but this one really goes to natural materials. So use cardboard, string, and more. So you can go with pine cones, leaves, sticks, acorns, grass, or whatever you have in your backyard or where you live. These materials can make acorn picture frames, a pine cone wreath, stick stars, and much more. Just literally look up on the internet crafts made with natural materials, and so many ideas will pop up into your head. Even Pinterest will have a lot of stuff, and you will get ideas, instructions, pictures, and more. Number 5, the last one, is cut down on plastic. Use glass plates. So this one really is a lifestyle thing, but for the holidays, it's COVID, so people are socially distancing. You might not be able to meet up with your family and friends the same way that you did before, pre-COVID. So you might be thinking, maybe I should use plastic plates, cutlery, and cups. Don't do that. And yes, even though you are kind of lowering your risk, if it's truly necessary, you should, but we advise you not to, because it does hurt the environment by you doing that. And remember, every single plate, everything counts. It's what you do that matters. And it's also not just, it's not just this. It's not just plates, it's also gifts. For the gift side of things, you get Lego, toys with action figures, dolls, balls. There's so many things made of plastic. I heard this quote and yeah, it really is. It really is a holiday on Plastic Island. Tonight's Did You Know is an issue that has been going on ever since road salt to melt street ice and sidewalk ice has been going on. Tonight's Did You Know is road salt is bad for the environment. Road salt contains a toxic chemical called chloride, and when all of the snow and ice melts, that salt goes into sewers and can sink into the soil. Then it goes into freshwater rivers, streams, and creeks, and into lakes, which affects the local ecosystem and wildlife like otters, turtles, fish, birds, and many more animals. And the problem is that we do this every single winter. Basically, every public space is dominated by road salt in the winter, like a school, sidewalk, big office buildings, you name it. But we use salt for our safety, so is there a way to be safe and also respect the environment? Well, there actually is, but before I tell you that solution, I need to tell you more about road salt and how much we need to use. So, road salt is only effective between 0 and 10 degrees Celsius. So if you put it any colder, it won't do its fair share. We also put down a lot more salt than needed. For every square meter, you only need 2.5 tablespoons. 2.5 tablespoons. So really just lowering how much you use can also have a positive impact on the environment. An alternative is sand. But before you put the sand or salt down, make sure to shovel the snow and ice and just put in the salty areas. Icy areas, not salty. And yeah, because sand has its own environmental impact, and also it's very messy, just so you know that. You can also get grippers for your boots in the ice. That will holiday. Now we have our DIY segment of the show. So first, we are going to be making a wreath. So, do you want to know what it looks like? This is what it looks like. This was handmade, so don't think this was bought. I made it. Yeah, this is what it looks like. So, yes. So how are you so you're gonna make this by getting maybe 30 centimeter by 30 centimeter piece of cardboard, and then making a circle like this. This is from shoebox or boot box. And then what you're gonna do is you are going to get red and green cloth. This is from an old t-shirt. And you put it in maybe 5 centimeter by 5 centimeter squares. You don't want them too big. So you have them in the squares. And then with your glue gun, you are going to, you're gonna put a dab on the wreath, and then you're gonna so it's like that. You're gonna just put it like that into a little ball so it has a little point. Then you're just gonna dab it on, and try not to get hot glue on yourself. It happened to me, so it will happen. It's possible it will happen to you. Just be careful with the hot glue gun. All right, and then after you can put a little hole through and then some string, and then you can put this ribbon and bell. I did not make the ribbon and bell. I just put it on. Okay, now we are going to be making a decoration. We are going to be making holly. So this is what plastic holly looks like. This is what homemade holly looks like. So not as good, but I mean, hey, pretty similar. So what you're going to do is, still we're using glue gun, so you're going to kind of put it, fold it in half, and then pinch it here, and then kind of fold it, then let it out. Then you're going to get your glue gun, right here for me, and then you're going to just dab glue in there, and just make it stick. And then what you'll do is you'll cut a little circle with, what's this called? T-shirt, red t-shirt. Then you'll put it in, and then it should look kind of like this. And this video should be posted on YouTube and our Instagram page, so you can see them, and we'll also post the instructions to these DIYs. All right, so now we have our animal of the week. This animal of the week came suggested by one of our listeners. This week's animal of the week is furry, white, small, and super cute. It's the Vulpes lagopus, aka polar fox, aka snow fox, but you might know it as, let me get the picture loaded, the Arctic fox. Woo! These omnivores weigh between 6.5 to 17 pounds. These foxes have an incredible ability to camouflage. In the winter, which is in the picture, their fur turns white to blend into the snow. Whereas in the summer, when there is less snow and more vegetation, their skin turns like a whitish, grayish, brownish color to blend in with the rocks, vegetation, the soil, all of that stuff. These foxes live in burrows and can tunnel in the snow when needed to. Lucky for us, their population is stable and they're least concerned on the red list. That is the least, they're very far from endangered. Let me just say it like that. All right, well, even though we had a glitch during the episode, I think that was a pretty packed episode, with the sustainable holiday tips to a shocking did you know with road salt, from some holiday DIY tips to the Arctic fox. And this was only part 1 to a 2-part series. And just so you know, next week is the last episode before the winter break. We'll start again in January. The date will be released a little later. But we can't leave you hanging with the riddle. So let's hear it before I give you the answer and you submit your answers. When does Christmas come before Thanksgiving? Please submit your answers now. When does Christmas come before Thanksgiving? Type it in. In the dictionary, nice the brawl. Anyone else? Agree, disagree, alphabet? Yeah. Any other answers? The days following Thanksgiving and before Christmas? Possibly. So we have dictionary, alphabet, and the days following Thanksgiving and before Christmas. Any more answers? All right, I'm revealing the answer in 5, 4, 3, dictionary again? Okay. 2, 1, and the answer is a dictionary. Good choice, because C comes before T, and the person who said alphabet, that is technically true. All right, dictionary. Make sure to check out the Planet Protectors podcast with all of our archived episodes of the live stream, and you can stream it on basically everywhere you get your podcast. And we have it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, and Deezer. Make sure to check out the new initiative, Holy Holiday Treats, and the new Holiday Cards initiative, on our website. The link is in our bio on our Instagram page. And have a great rest of your evening. Remember to stay eco, and see you next week for part 2 of our live stream. And for more holiday fun. See you next week.